Now, let's take a look at some specific denomination traditions. As you may have noticed, mainline Protestants had the highest numbers for drinking among Christians, and more of them had a drink in the last 30 days than the atheists, and nothing in particular categories too. Of the 37 denominations, 6 of them fit the definition of mainline Protestant. I'm also including the Methodist Church in Britain in here because it is the same kind of denomination. Mainline Protestant is a U.S. term, but if it was a global categorization, the Methodist Church would be in there for sure. Mainline Protestant refers often to the denominations in the U.S. that contain most of the old historic churches, but at the same time, these are the more theologically liberal denominations. They have been declining faster in America than most other religious groups. Of the denominations I found statements from, 5 stated a view of moderation and 2 of abstinence. The Moravian Church says, for example, "We are aware of the problems that can be caused by the intemperate use of such things as alcoholic beverages, food, tobacco, drugs, and other things. We consider it the responsibility of every Christian to decide most carefully how they can be used in good conscience. We regard intemperance in any area of living as being inconsistent with the Christian life." And the Presbyterian Church USA says, "The General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church USA does not advocate the prohibition of alcohol, a policy which would appear to attribute the entire problem to alcohol itself. Responsible and non-problematic uses of alcohol have been part of human experience and the Judeo-Christian heritage since the beginning of recorded history. The considerable risks and immense suffering that follow from excessive and unwise uses of alcohol do, however, impose upon all Christians individually and corporately the responsibility to make and encourage judicious and well-informed choices regarding personal and social uses of alcohol." The PCUSA also says some things that are common in the statements of denominations that hold the moderation position. That is, encouraging abstinence from alcohol while not disallowing alcohol. They say abstention in all situations should be supported and encouraged. Moderate drinking and low-risk situations should not be opposed. Heavy drinking in any situation should be vigorously discouraged. The statement I found from the Episcopal Church was quite interesting in that it was somewhat apologetic about past permissiveness on this issue. This statement is also one of the more recent ones adopted in 2015. It says in part, "Resolved that the 78th General Convention acknowledge the Episcopal Church's long-standing tolerance for the use of alcohol, which in some cases has contributed to its misuse and has undermined a climate of wholeness and holiness for all. That our church culture too often avoids hard conversations about alcohol use and the role of forgiveness and compassion in healing and recovery, and that the Episcopal Church now commits to create a new normal in our relationship with alcohol." Some of the other things stated in this resolution included, "When alcohol is served, it must be monitored and those showing signs of intoxication must not be served. Serving alcoholic beverages at congregational events where minors are present is strongly discouraged. Whenever alcohol is served, appealing non-alcoholic alternatives must always be offered with equal prominence and accessibility, and food must be served when alcohol is present." It's worth noting that the denominations that hold to a moderation view often find less necessity to make a statement about alcohol at all. This leads to there being more denominations on this chart that hold to the other views simply because they're more likely to have a statement on the matter. That also means that the dominance of the moderation position among mainline churches is actually likely underrepresented here, with mainline churches very unlikely to hold the abstinence position. Nevertheless, there are 2 that I found that do. One of those is the Church of the Brethren, which is an Anabaptist denomination. In fact, a statement that they made back in 1952 looks more like the prohibition viewpoint, though it seems that the denomination has softened on the issue since then. In 1976, they said, "The Church sees abstinence as the position consistent with its heritage and interpretation of the Christian tradition. And also, the Church recognizes that a number of its members are users of alcohol, and as we continue to share with these members, we will also recognize our responsibility to aid them in growing beyond their drinking habits and will fellowship with them toward that goal." As well as, the Church lifts up the following cautions on moderate drinking. It is the moderate drinker who provides major support of the alcoholic beverage industry in finance, legislation, and in productive promotion of sales. Tragically, social and moderate drinkers have no way of predicting who of their number will sooner or later become problem drinkers. Before we look at evangelicals, here's another poll result from viewers of this channel. When asked what is in the cup at communion, 48% said wine and 43% said grape juice. Though grape juice in the cup doesn't necessarily mean a group is for abstinence, wine in the cup is a strong indicator for the moderation position. In another poll, I asked, did Jesus drink alcoholic beverages? 83% of viewers said yes, and 7% said no. Another poll showed that 89% of viewers said that consumption of alcohol should be legal, and 11% said illegal.